I have never actually made a video just addressing you guys before. So this is going to be an adventure for all of us because I am terrible at speaking to a camera. Anyone who's been subscribed to me for any period of time or has known me for the last 20 years knows that I have been incredibly involved with ragtime music. I play it, I write ragtime, I arrange for groups, I help put together ragtime festivals a couple times a year, I collect the original copies of ragtime music. I could probably make a 4-hour video over any one of these folders any day. Well, maybe not this one. There's nothing in it at the moment. And you would think that, given that my entire channel has been dedicated to nothing but ragtime, I would have maybe done a video about my collection a little sooner. Well, I'm not doing that today. There is something else that I collect just as avidly as ragtime sheet music, and I don't know if you're going to be able to guess. Houseplants. I collect houseplants. I've always been a lover of the natural world, and when I moved back to Texas from California a couple years ago, I really got into houseplants. Growing up, my mom always had them around. She and my sister are both big plant people, and when I would go over and spend time with them, I just felt so refreshed and so cleansed of just stress and anxiety because they always had so many houseplants around. It's been quite an adventure collecting everything that I have so far, and I haven't really decided how long I want this video to be or if I want to show you everything I have, because I got some guys in not so good a shape right now. I'm just now realizing how terrible this lighting is, but I don't really feel like doing anything about it. It's also really super late at night. I don't know if you can tell. I should probably be asleep. But instead I'm making a video about my plants. I'm not going to make this one of those here's how to care for a golden pothos types of videos because I truly don't know the first thing about houseplant care. I'm winging it the entire step of the way. I've had some major crash and burns. I don't want to talk about any of my calatheas. But I'm just going to kind of show you what I have and talk about what I've done with them, where I got them, stuff like that if that's okay. Why don't we start with pothos? Because I have a lot of pothos. I have a lot of pothos. This still isn't even all of it. Oh my god, I'm winded from moving all this stuff. I kind of feel obligated to start with my golden pothos. Not because this is the first plant that I got, but it's the first plant that I got that I didn't kill. I don't even want to talk about the pitcher plant I bought for myself. Anyway, this is what remains of my mother plant. It did get really bad root rot while I was on a work trip last fall, and it did not look happy when I got home. So he's doing a lot better. I did root and plant some cuttings from one of my mom's plants in here. Is a little droopy, but he bounces back. I've had to transplant him a couple of times just because, again, winging it, didn't get the soil right, and he was not very happy. He actually looks a lot better, if you can believe it. Anyway, so that is what remains of my mother plant, but what I love about the golden pothos is it's so versatile. I mean, you can just stick it in water, and I like to decorate with all sorts of things. I'm not an alcoholic, I promise. I just really like the labels on the bottles. And it's nice to be able to just put anywhere. I definitely almost dropped that. That would have been exciting. I probably don't need to be making a video right now, but I'm still doing it. And this baby is my pride and joy. This is my Manjula. I have had this for quite a while, and it's been a while since he's gotten a haircut. He started to get really long. I had him propped up on kind of like a moss pole, but not really. And he was doing okay with that, but it was really short. And I didn't have another one to add on top, so I decided to get creative. I live in the middle of the sticks. There's a lot of really cool sticks out in the woods, so I've got a few of my guys propped up on just some limbs I found out in the woods, and so far everyone seems to be enjoying it. This guy was just repotted and propped up. This is my lemon top pothos. I got him actually at Walmart in Florida when I was there in January. I had not heard of this variety, and I saw it and thought, you know what? I think you might need to come home with me. And he did come home with me. He's doing quite well. He's quite happy. I wish I could show you better, but he's got all sorts of new little leaves coming in here at the base, so I think he's pretty happy. This is actually 2 varieties in one pot. I decided I was going to put my Marble Queen and Snow Queen pothos together because they look so damn similar anyway. But I liked the way that I got it all set up because, oh, you can't really see. Damn, how can I do this better? Let's try this. See, the lighting in here sucks, and you can't even see how beautiful this variegation is here. Or, on this side, that I've got some super, super white leaves, and that is exactly why he's under a grow light all the time. This is my Enjoy. I had someone tell me at the store that it was a glacier, but I honestly can't tell the difference. I bought him actually at a really cute market up in Kalkaska, Michigan. He was just one little vine with about 4 leaves on him. He was like $5, and I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. He's a really slow grower for me, but he is very happy in this pot and has actually put on a lot of new foliage in the last just 3 months alone. This is what remains of my pearls and jade. My mother plant got terrible root rot. That was definitely my fault. That was before I knew what I was doing. But the remaining portion of the plant seems to be really happy. I've just got him in water. He's putting on a ton of new growth. I've actually trimmed him back and made a couple new plants for people out of him. I mean, he's happy. I'm not changing anything. I think that's everyone. I probably forgot a plant. I'll show it to you later. I remembered who I forgot. So, I am super hesitant to show this guy to you because, again, got root rot while I was gone. He is a fighter. He is hanging on with every ounce of strength he has, but he is so sad. He's actually a lot better than he was. But this is also my 3rd scindapsus that I've had. So I'm thinking that I might need to work on this a little bit before I even consider getting another one. Although he's got some new growth coming in on him. Do I just let him sit, or what do I do? What do I do? Do I send him back to the plant gods, or do I give him another chance? I'm also looking over at some very sad Cebu blue cuttings that I have. I got them from my mom's plant and they were doing great and then decided to just lose all of their leaves. So I'm trying to nurse those back to health as best I can. I do not have high hopes for them. Anyway, I feel like it's just every plant owner's rite of passage to have at least one Monstera deliciosa, whether or not it survives. You at least tried. But I love mine. I'm also just... That was gross. I'm also just getting into naming my plants. I've seen people do it for the years that I've been doing this and thought, now I'm really into naming them. But only a couple of them have names, so I need you guys to help me out. This is Big Boy because he's a big boy. I do also back here, this is a node from a plant that my mom gave me, or she just gave me a hunk of a node that she had. And he is, right now, he has 3 new leaves coming in on him, so he is quite happy. That pot is so heavy. Now that my pulmonary embolism is passed, this is my Tycon Monstera Pretty Boy. That was a terrible angle to first show him at, but isn't he pretty? He is also one that I found at a Walmart in Florida. Actually, the same Walmart I got my lemon top at. I got him for $25. This was the best buy I have ever made, and he's finally putting off his first new leaf for me. I may or may not have broken off a couple of these little tiny ones when I repotted him, and they were beautifully variegated, so that was exciting. But he has a new leaf coming in, and it looks extremely variegated, so I'm excited to see what he does. All right, philodendron people, please don't come at me for this next one. This was kind of a rescue mission. While I was at that Walmart in Florida where I got Pretty Boy and the Lemon Top, they had this huge, very sad, but potentially pretty philodendron white princess. Well, I didn't have one, so of course for $15 it was going to come home with me. I had to kind of chop and prop him, like from the get-go. And he is very sad, but he's putting off all sorts of new on both, so I think he's doing a lot better. The main stalk was starting to rot right in the middle, so I had to cut all that out and then make sure everyone was okay. He's still not growing anything off the top, although the top cutting that I did do rooted, I planted it and gave it to someone. There were like 4 or 5 pups coming off of him that were just drowning him out. His poor root ball was, oh, it was so bad. So I had to do a lot of open heart surgery on this guy when I first got him. He's just now starting to put off new, so I think he's doing better. But if you guys have any tips or tricks to get him to do better, I would greatly appreciate the help. I actually feel really bad for this next one. I bought this little Birkin probably at Tractor Supply Company last spring. I went a little overboard with the plants over there. I bought him not knowing what he was, didn't care to look him up, and he went on kind of a dark shelf out in my living room. Several months went by, he was doing okay, and I realized what he was. And he immediately came in my room and I started nursing him back to health, and he's doing a lot better. I don't know if you can tell how variegated that new leaf is, and then he's also got a new one coming in. When I realized how badly I was mistreating this poor philodendron, I cried. I felt very bad for this plant, but he's bouncing back and he's doing well. I also bought my mom a really nice Birkin a couple years ago, and the last time I was down there and saw it, it had like 6 or 7 pups growing off of it. I said, lady, you need to trim this back or it's gonna die. So several of those were potted and are going to friends of ours, and I got 2 little pups that I have going, and they've both put off new leaves already. I'm very excited to see how big these get. Hopefully they are much healthier than the poor one that I neglected, and I'm starting to feel really bad for him again. Now that I have more varieties of pothos than I even knew existed before I got into plant collecting, philodendrons are my next kind of hyperfixation. I already have the 3 Birkins and the very sad white princess. And imagine my surprise when I go over to my mom's house and she has this huge red Congo on her back porch. He was growing, I wish I had a photo of him. He was growing all kinds of wonky, and his stem was huge and all twisted, and he was doing great up top. I said, that plant is not happy, but he would look really good in my room. Can I have him? And she just kept saying no. Well, I was just going to take the plant. She ended up giving it to me, so I guess I'm not a thief. But as soon as I brought him home, that stalk got cut into 3. I have him propagating in some perlite right now. He's actually doing much better. I had to trim all the root rot off, but he's got new aerial roots coming in. One of the little nodes has a little bump where a leaf is coming in. And the 2 cot tuttings, Jesus, can you tell that I watch a little bit too much Jack Benny? And I think Mary Livingston might actually like embody me sometimes. Anyway, the top cuttings are doing great. There was a split where there were kind of 2 coming off, and so I cut him down. He's doing great. He already has a new leaf coming in here. I mean, not that you have a reference or anything, and not that you can probably see him, but the aerial roots on that other cutting are much longer than they were when I first put him in here, so he's doing really well. The other little nodes are doing well, so at some point I will have 5 philodendron red Congos in my room. I have definitely killed every calathea I've ever owned, but they wouldn't have died if they weren't so temperamental. My Maranas, on the other hand, are all doing great. Well, this guy needed some rehab. He randomly got root rot, and this was the only little bit that survived, but since he's been in this water, that's a new leaf. He's got a new one coming in right there, and he's starting to root. So he'll bounce back, I'll get him potted, and he'll do as well as he used to. My lemon lime is up there. I tried to get him down. He didn't want to come out of the hanging basket, and I don't have the energy to deal with that right now. He absolutely loves that window. He has bloomed for me at least 3 times a year since I've had him. So those are doing really well. I would love to try to get back into calatheas. I'm a little scared to do it. Hoyas are my kryptonite. Every single Hoya I have owned, and I have had a lot, has just decided life was not worth living. I follow the care guides. I do everything you're supposed to with them, and they all just die. Except for my compacta. This is the only Hoya I have owned, and this is my 3rd compacta that has decided to stick around a little while. He got really bad root rot, and so I had to transplant him. He wasn't too happy in the original pot that I had him in, so a couple weeks ago I put him in here and he perked up quite a bit. I don't know if you can tell, but I am a big Beetlejuice person. This is Delia. I loved this pot, and even though it isn't exact, it reminded me of the pots that, or the bowls that the shrimp are in, that this kind of reminded me of, so this is Delia. You want to see something really sad? Look at the string of watermelons. Look, I'm trying. And the thing that I don't understand is he is in the exact same window as my string of turtles, and I mean, look at him. Everyone complains about not being able to keep these alive, and I can't keep this cut back. I have actually made 6 different plants just from this one for other people. Make it make sense. I don't know what else to show you. I've just got a whole lot of other random stuff. I don't know if it's, like, worth showing off or not. I just realized that I have another hanging basket of pothos in that window I forgot about. Well, if you've stuck around this long, thanks for letting me ramble on about something other than Ragtime for a change. Oh my god, this has been a breath of fresh air. And it's fun to talk about some of these other things that interest me. I mean, I've done Ragtime so in-depth for so long, it's really absorbed a large portion of my life. And it's nice to be able to kind of put that on the back burner every now and again and do something else for a change. You know, I actually had to think about extensively what I was going to say during the video. I don't know how to end it. So, thanks for watching. Love you. K, bye.